Here in America, work is in trouble. We've offshored our manufacturing, sent away good jobs, and lost so much ability to make things. American Giant is a company that's pushing back against this tide. They make high-quality clothing, sweatshirts, jeans, dresses, jackets, and so much more right here in the USA. Visit American-Giant.com and get 20% off your first order when you use code STAPLE20 at checkout. That's 20% off your first order at American-Giant.com, promo code STAPLE20.
Hi, welcome everyone. I'm Renee.
And I'm Debbie, and we are
The Roundtable Recap. Welcome back. Today we are talking about Traitors UK Season 3, Episode 4. And we are starting off with the 3 people who got off the train. And I was excited. I was excited for this episode because we get to find out what happens with them. We get to find out who got murdered. So anyways, you see the 3 people and basically they just get on a horse carriage and then it cuts back to the main players of the game.
Yeah, I liked it because the way just at the beginning, I was, of course, excited. I really wanted to see, Alexander. I mean, all 3, but I really wanted, really hoping that Alexander would be part of the game. And so when it opens up back at the train depot and you are given the idea that maybe these people might have a chance to come back into the game. I just liked it. I like the whole thing. I like the fact that it was a cliffhanger and then now we might have some resolution. So yeah, I was excited to get this episode going.
Yeah, and I kind of like that they also like prolonged it to episode 4. It wasn't just like, oh, this whole thing happened episode 1 and then you find out the next episode. I kind of liked that they sprinkled it in a couple episodes later just to kind of keep you guessing.
This was good. So next thing is at breakfast.
Yep, and we find out who was murdered. What did you feel about Maya being murdered?
I saw it coming because I like what Mina said about Maya probably not ever getting banished, especially after what had happened at the round table the night before with Maya saying that she thought her sister Armani was a traitor. So I thought it was a smart move on the traitor's part.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, yeah, because nobody's gonna pinpoint her as a traitor. Everyone's gonna think she's a faithful regardless. I mean, obviously, knowing how traitors get played out, there's always some type of recruitment, so maybe later. But I feel like, yeah, she's not gonna be on anybody's radar. So it's definitely a smart choice. It's not gonna be able to get back to the traitors of why they murdered her.
Yeah, on a more emotional level, it was kind of sad to see both sisters gone, back to back.
Yeah, for sure. It was short-lived for both of their games.
Yeah, but again, it goes back to why did they think that was a good gameplay to be truthful about their relationship? I think that was a big mistake right from the beginning.
I agree. I thought it was a very poor decision. So then Anna gets brought up. She gets thrown in there that people think that she could possibly be a traitor because she's also a quiet one. And then also they said with the challenge that you saw from the last episode about her not knowing where to tie up the rope and back and forth. So that kind of gets sprinkled in there, which I didn't even think about. Anna, I think because as a viewer, you also know who the traitors are. So, I mean, I wouldn't even question that at all because she was hustling when she got off the boat. It looked like she was confused and people were yelling at her all different types of things.
Yeah. When you're a faithful and you see somebody acting like they're confused, it's like, are they really confused or is this being done on purpose? Are they trying to sabotage? But I think when she just wrapped the rope around, instead of tying up the boat, she just wrapped it around and then, and then ran off and left, was it Lisa and Francesca in the boat?
Yeah.
And
she did do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it was actually Armani that held the boat so that they could get off.
Yeah. Yeah. It was Armani that like pulled it in for them.
So, yeah. Yeah, and Dan is going after Anna.
Mhm.
Was it? I think it was later on. I don't think it was this early when Anna overhears. Oh,
Yeah, no,
yeah, I
that
think
was yeah, that was later
yeah,
in the
yeah,
episode after the challenge.
yeah. So before the challenge, there's lots of talk. There's a suspicion, more suspicion on Kaz and Freddie from Tyler. Then that alliance, there's an alliance that's kind of forming between Leon, Livy, and Tyler.
Tyler, yeah.
So yeah, so the four of them are kind of forming an alliance and kind of strategizing about the traitors. So
I think
yeah.
Armani was kind of right though in Tyler. Like he's made some good points, like the last episode with the sisters. What's the point of having both of them?
Hmm.
But like where Armani's like, yeah, but Tyler doesn't have a clue, and I think she's right. At least right now, like
Hmm.
his suspicions are wrong, and some of his statements he makes are just kind of funny since you know that they're wrong, but he's so confident in his statements.
Well, his confidence comes from because he was the one that threw out Armani's name. So and he kind of led the charge against her. So he's confident because of that. That he could find the
He can
traitor.
find him. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. So he's
it's entertaining. It's entertaining to watch when you know that
yes.
he's wrong.
Yeah.
But that's all I had, and then it jumps to them going to the challenge because there wasn't much discussion until really after they get
Hmm.
back.
Right.
So
So
now
this mission is.
with the three people from the train, they show up. They each are in a cage, and basically the players have to collect the gold coins and put the coins into each person's slot, I guess you
Mhm.
could say. And then the more coins they get, then the person gets lowered to where once they are lowered, the two out of the three can return back to the game. And then the third one goes home. Um,
Right.
but before they start the game, each player that's in a cage has to plead their case to the other players of basically why they should bring them back into the game and save them. And what did
Mhm.
you think of their pleas?
Of course, I like Alexander. I thought it was funny because when he said he looked out and there was only like three people from his
His cart, yeah, his train
yeah.
cart, yeah,
Yeah. So I think he was already feeling okay, this is not looking good. I mean, I liked Alexander's what he said as far as being a
yeah,
diplomat and being able to help find the traitors and being a team player and all that. But then I thought Fazia made a really good point as far as being the first one off the train, that she
mhm.
put the team first. I mean, that really, I think that held a lot of weight
I think
because
so.
because that was something that she did. I mean, actions speak louder than words. So that was, I thought that was really strong for her. And then, is it
Poor
Jack?
Jack. Yeah, poor Jack. I felt like his plea was not that great, and he didn't have
No,
anything, like, that he could
no.
really say to bring to the table, so
Yeah, other than being good in challenges,
it just
but
wasn't as
then
strong.
yeah, because when you think back, I mean, this is episode 4. They've only done a couple of challenges, but they really haven't needed to have anybody who's super strong or athletic or anything like that to win the challenges.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I thought his was the weakest.
I thought so too. So, basically, it's a pretty clear-cut challenge. There wasn't really a whole lot going on.
No, yeah, they just ran through the woods and got the coins and put
Yeah.
them in.
I think Fozia was the first one down, which obviously
Mhm.
I agree with the team with that one, and then Alexander was the second down. And
Yeah,
then since they're being brought back into the game, they don't get a vote at the round table, and they can't be murdered to, that evening, which I think was fair. It was, because
yeah,
obviously they would have been an easy target. Like, you haven't even played. Like, let's just get you guys out of here again. I think it was
right,
a
yeah.
fair move.
And they each had a shield. Each
Yes.
came into the game with a shield. Yeah.
Yes. Alexander and Fozia could give their shield to whoever of their choosing. And I know it's a little bit later, but basically, who is it? Is it Dan? Yeah, Dan had a really great idea of Alexander saying that three people would get the shield, or he would pick one out of the three people, which was Dan, uh, Mina, and
Tyler.
uh, who?
Wasn't it Tyler? Was it
Tyler?
Tyler?
I believe so. I can't remember. You're probably right. So basically, essentially, it saves all three
Yeah.
people. I mean, not that Mina needs it, but it saves them because they don't know
Mhm.
who exactly the traders don't know who got the shields. And then it's
Right.
never actually talked about who Fozia gives her shield to. We don't know in this episode. So then they come back and Dan is still suspecting Anna of being a traitor.
And then the three girls were eavesdropping
Yes.
outside. Well, Leanne, Anna, and Livy were eavesdropping.
Yes, and this where Anna hears her name being brought up for the first time,
Right.
that people think that she's a traitor.
Yeah, Dan brought that up because he thought she was fake when she came over and kind of comforted him. I forget. I don't even know at the breakfast table. I don't know. Was it with Keith
Yeah.
murdered
Yeah,
and
it was
she came over?
I'm pretty sure
Oh,
with Keith, and
okay.
he thought
So,
she
and
was
he,
being faked,
yeah,
basically
because
for,
there's no reason for her to come over to him.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's all I had. And then I had,
Well, you have the saga of Cass becoming isolated. Yeah,
oh,
I just
this
really,
episode, I felt so bad for him.
yeah, nobody wants to talk when he's around, and
Hmm.
yeah, that was very sad to see because they're there to play a game, and he's like a social outcast. Nobody's inviting him in to strategize. So I felt bad. I felt bad for him.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think even if you suspect someone as a traitor, I think the worst thing to do is to separate that person, because you can even get information if they're a
Hmm.
traitor, maybe about other traitors, if you think they're a traitor anyways. But I don't see why they would have done that. Even if you suspect him as a traitor, he could still bring stuff to the table and like open your eyes to different things. And I don't know. I didn't agree with how that all played out.
Yeah, I thought it was very sad. It was a very sad episode.
Yeah. Which brings us to the round table, and there's more tears.
Right.
And Cass surprisingly wasn't one of the people that was, that had the tears. It
Yeah.
was other
Yeah.
people. And I think at this point you can really tell that Linda and Mina are doing a really good job at being traders, because everyone was bringing up different people. Lisa brought up Anna.
Hmm.
Mina, obviously she's a trader, but she brought up Kaz again, and then Livy brought up Freddie. So it's just
Right.
like everyone's suspecting everybody except for the traders, at least at this specific roundtable.
I mean, that's the role of the traders, is just to create chaos. They got to keep the confusion so that people don't focus in on them. They've got to really spread that confusion around. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that was I think that was good.
Yeah, and I think this is where you can really see what type of player also Fozia is, where,
Yeah,
she brought up the whole Kaz thing and ostracizing him, and that like that's
yeah,
not fair if that's like what has been happening. And so you can tell that she's going to be a very vocal player in this game,
right.
which I feel like they need someone, especially since they voted off Armani.
Yeah, because I was surprised that she stepped up, being that she just came into the game. And because when Alexander and Fozia came in, Claudia said that, are they coming in as traitors? Are they coming in as faithful? Or
Mhm.
one a traitor, one faithful? So the fact that she was so vocal, well, not so vocal, but she was vocal at the round table, I thought that was taking a risk. But it's nice to see in this game that somebody's taking a risk
Yeah.
instead of playing it safe,
Yeah, and it's a
So,
faithful. That's taking a risk. It's yeah.
right, yeah, yeah,
Ultimately, Kaz is the one who went home, and I completely felt so bad for him, and
yeah.
I I think he probably was relieved to go home at this point. Like, I know I would be like, you know what? It doesn't matter what I say. Like, no one wants to play the game with me. Every time I
Right.
have to sit here and defend myself, and everything is taken out of context. And I mean,
Yeah.
I can't say he gave up, but I feel like if I was in his shoes, I would have given up and just been like, okay, that's fine. Just vote me
Yeah.
out. I'm fine.
Yeah, it's just sad to see because he initially started off with the thing that blew up in his face was that toast.
I know.
And he was trying to do something good, and then it backfired, and then people just couldn't let it go, and it was just so sad to see that he was trying to do something good, trying to bring everybody together, and it had the opposite effect
Yeah.
of and just isolated him. So yeah, I
Mhm.
think that I've been in his shoes, and the fact that nobody wanted to strategize with me, nobody wanted to talk with me, everybody suspected me, I always had to defend myself. Yeah, I would have been very defeated in the game. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But how did you love his ending speech? I loved his ending, how
Yeah.
he set it up to make it
Yeah.
seem like, yeah, that he was a traitor. I
Yeah.
absolutely loved it.
Yeah, because who was it? Was it Joe that said that suspected him because of the twinkle in his eye?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
but the
whatever.
fact that Kaz brought that into his ending speech, who would have
Yes,
guessed that the twinkle in my the twinkle that you saw in my eye?
I know. It was
Yeah.
great. It was well played on his part.
Yeah, I
And
think that was good. That was a good way to exit. He really stuck it to some people.
mhm.
So I liked it. I felt bad for him, but I liked his speech. I thought it was good.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
definitely. But then that's all I had until they got, to
They had that discussion with that alliance, that four-member alliance between Livy, Leanne, Leon, and Tyler, because they were going to go for Freddie, and then Tyler
Oh,
and
that's right, because he was so
yeah,
adamant about voting,
right,
and then Tyler switched it up at the round table, which I think Tyler can get influence. He's
yeah.
can easily sway is what it comes down to.
But it's interesting to see because that alliance is getting, it's stronger.
Mhm.
I mean, the four of them are kind of, they're trying to act as a team, so which is dangerous, for the traders. So I thought it was really interesting. I thought that whole conversation was interesting. Uh, not so much, yes, in part for what happened, but more so because of their thinking of themselves as a team.
Yeah. But I
Yeah,
don't know if Linda and Mina know how strong they are at this point,
yeah.
the team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mina suspected it. I mean, I don't think Linda has a clue, but
No.
but Mina suspected it. She's seeing it, but yeah, I don't know if she realizes how strong their alliance is becoming.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But I definitely think the alliance of four that Tyler going against what he said isn't um doesn't show a good light on him going forward, at least for that
right.
specific group, because now the group realizes just how easily he
Mhm.
can go back on what he says he's going to do and not follow through.
Right. Yeah.
So it'll be
Yeah.
interesting next episode to see how that alliance continues, and
Yeah.
and if they do discuss him a little bit more as far as what, like, the other 3 discuss Tyler in regards to what he did at the round table.
Yeah.
I'm interested anyways to see how that all plays out,
Yeah.
because other than that, you haven't really seen any other alliances being formed. I mean, people talk here and there, but I
Right.
don't think it's very consistent of who talks to one another all the time.
Right. Yeah. Because I think Jake and Joe have I mean, kind of an alliance. They strategize, but not like these four.
Yeah.
This is the first time that you're seeing like a true alliance within the group. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
and we'll see who Dan teams up with, because I feel like he was him and Kaz could have been a really good alliance. I feel like
Mhm.
they were kind of leading into that, but obviously that was cut short.
So that's it, except for the Traitors turret.
Yeah, and so at the Traitors turret, that's when they learn that Mina has a shield. Alexander gave her the shield,
Right.
and also that they can recruit or they can murder, but obviously they don't know who the second person is that has the shields. I think they were definitely smart to decide to recruit someone because it is like playing a risk trying to kill someone off and then it doesn't play out, then you're out. You're short a traitor and now, no one got murdered. So I feel like recruiting was a good option for them.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of was like, well, you could have gone after Tyler or Dan.
No, I
'Cause you
think
know,
that would have been too much. I think that would put too
yeah,
much heat on Mina.
yeah. But I think that would have been their only option as
Yeah.
far as yeah, unless they just wanted to take a shot in the dark.
Yeah. But I think going after one of those two, it would have put a red flag because
Yeah,
obviously they know, or it would have put a flag on Alexander's back.
Alexander.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Since he knew who he gave the shield to.
yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't revealed who they recruited,
Well, they
but
had three, right? Freddie, Anna, or Fozia.
out of those three, who would you have recruited?
I probably would have recruited. I kind of like Fozia, but I don't know if she would have said yes.
Fozia was my choice. I would
Yeah,
definitely because she would have been already having some type of target on her back just
right.
because you don't know if she came back into the game as a traitor or a faithful. So that right there could have gave the other two some coverage of being a traitor
Mhm.
because especially if like Alexander gets on their radar, let's just say, and they vote him out, then they're going to be like, oh, well, then Fozia is a traitor. And or at least
Mm,
that's how I feel like it would have been
right,
played out. So I feel like
right.
that would
Yeah,
have been the smarter move. Whether or not she accepts,
yeah,
I don't know. She kind of seemed happy about coming back as a faithful. So I don't know if she's gonna accept it. But if I was in the traitor's shoes, I would have went after her to recruit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Of those three, yeah. I mean, but I mean, it's a risk either way. Either way, you
Hmm.
recruit and you take a risk, or you try to murder and hope you don't get the person that has the shield.
Yeah. I think Anna would have been the second since they're already on the radar, but I feel like at the same time that would have been a waste because I think she's got the potential to be voted out.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I think Freddie is too young. I don't know if he could handle being a traitor.
No, I don't. I don't think Freddie at all. At all. I would not have picked him at all. Mm-mm.
Yeah, seeing his emotional reaction at the round table.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
I
or
think he's
maybe like Joe or
mm,
like
yeah,
one of the guys that just kind
right.
of in the background, but
Yeah, Dan. Yeah, because he's not emotional.
Dan might make a good trader. But
Yeah,
definitely out of the three they were thinking Fozia. I was like, yes, go with her. I hope they go with
yeah,
her.
yeah,
Just because I feel like it'd be a smart move.
yeah. That's all I have for that episode.
Yeah, that's all I got. Excited to see how it plays out in next week's episode when we go over episode 5.
Yay.
See you guys there.